Hey guys, it's K Cars, and in this video I wanted to talk to you guys about the top 5 issues that are known for the Jeep Cherokee XJs. So whether you're in the market to buy an XJ, these are some good things to just keep in mind, or if you're already an owner and you just want to make yourself more educated or also add on to this list, this video is definitely for you. And I also did want to point out, this thing is actually doing a pretty good job at not overheating, considering it doesn't even have a working electric fan. You can see right there, it's right at 210. It only goes a little bit over 210 if I'm just like sitting at a stoplight like I'm doing right now. But it really hasn't been anything that I've been too worried about. So one thing I love about these Jeeps is that if you run across something like this, like a huge pile of rocks, like right in the middle of the road, like you literally don't even have to be worried about it. So I actually did come up to this parking garage a few days ago with the Challenger to film my last video. And I had to go like all the way around, like weave in and out of these parking spots just to avoid this huge pile of rocks. But of course with the Jeep, you literally don't have to worry about a single thing. Of course what I love. So that's what I love about these old Jeeps. Yeah, I mean, I just love this thing. All right guys, so if you are new to the channel, this is my 2001 Jeep Cherokee XJ. I also have a 2016 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack. And today I want to talk to you guys about the top 5 issues that are known with these Jeep Cherokee XJs. So this list isn't in any particular order. It's just a list of the 5 common issues that I know of with these old Jeeps. If you guys have anything to add to the list, definitely add those down in the comments below and let me know what you think. So of course we can start off with the cooling issues. So let's go ahead and pop the hood here. And as you guys saw in that intro, my electric fan is completely out, so it does not work whatsoever. All right, so the cooling system on these Jeeps, you have 2 fans, one mechanical right here, and then one is also electric right over here. Now, as I showed you guys in the beginning of this video, this thing is completely shot. Like, I can barely spin it even by hand. So that's definitely one of the issues that I'm having with this Jeep so far. Now, it hasn't really overheated too badly yet, which I'm really lucky for that. The mechanical fan right here actually does still work. It's actually a mechanical clutch fan. I thought about replacing the clutch on this thing just as like preventative maintenance. But you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's one of the sayings with these old Jeeps. We'll be getting the electric fan replaced. I actually just received it today. I actually got the O-Mix electric fan. It's pretty much an OEM replacement. When it comes to replacing the parts on these old Jeeps, it really is probably the best to go with stock OEM replacement parts, which is exactly what I'm doing with the electric fan and a bunch of the other parts of the cooling system. So in order to do some preventative maintenance on this Jeep and prevent it from overheating, I am getting a lot of the cooling parts replaced. So like I said, electric fan. We're also going to be replacing the water pump, the thermostat housing, the radiator hoses. I might do the whole radiator as well. I'm not sure on that. But we're also going to be replacing the serpentine belt and maybe the idler pulley as well. So yeah, we're basically doing a complete overhaul to the cooling system on this Jeep, which I'm really excited about. It's definitely going to be pretty pricey. I'm going to go over that once we actually get all the work done. Now luckily I haven't really had any like serious major overheating problems with this thing, even though the electric fan does not work and the coolant isn't full either. So I don't know how this thing hasn't like completely overheated yet, but I've just been really lucky with this Jeep so far. I'm pretty sure the hottest that it has gone is just 1 tick over 210, which really isn't too major. It's not too terrible, but it should be staying right around 210 or a little bit under that. So we're definitely getting the coolant flushed, definitely replacing that electric fan. Like I said, a water pump, thermostat housing, and maybe the whole radiator as well. So like I said, when it comes to the parts on this Jeep, it probably is a good idea to just go ahead and stick with OEM replacement parts. So another pretty big problem with these old Jeeps is, you guys could probably guess it, but it's the rust issue. So with these old Cherokees, they're known to have a whole bunch of rust on the back of the rockers right here. So like this whole piece, whenever I first got this Jeep about 1.5 years ago, there was a huge hole right over here. As you guys know, these old Jeeps are known for having these rust issues, especially back here on the rockers. As you can see, obviously since then I've had some pretty good repairs done to it. So if I go ahead and open up the door here and show you guys the door jamb, it basically looks brand new now, which I'm really happy about. So you can see I got the whole rocker replaced along with the door jamb right here, all one piece. Yeah, it definitely looks a lot better like that. Get a good view of the bottom right there. And I also did get this thing descaled and undercoated with fluid film. See, it doesn't look too bad, but another spot that these Jeeps are known to rust is the rear lower quarter panels back here. So yeah, you guys can see that right there. This used to be non-existent on my Jeep. There used to just be a huge hole right there and no metal. Right there, if you guys can see that, that's also a pretty bad spot. So of course I got that fixed up as well. And basically same exact thing for the other side too. So passenger side was not as bad as the driver's side, but of course there was still some rust on the back of the rocker here, and of course the quarter panel in the back, and there is some rust on the bottom of the doors right here. It's also another spot that these Jeeps are known to rust. But yeah, I mean, it's really not too bad right now. Get a good look at the bottom right there. Yeah, so I mean, I feel like I got pretty lucky with this Jeep. It wasn't too terribly rusty whenever I first got it. Like I said, it only had that one little rust hole on the rocker back there. It had some surface rust on the passenger side rocker, and then the rear lower quarter panels were pretty much gone on both sides. So that's, you know, I mean, that's pretty common, but it wasn't in bad shape compared to the rest of the Jeeps that I've seen on, you know, Facebook Marketplace or other advertising places. So here we have some more rust on the rear bumper. Probably just going to end up getting this whole thing replaced sometime. See a good amount of rust down here. But yeah, so I mean, the rust problem is, I would say, the most common issue with these old Jeeps. It's getting really hard to find Jeeps that are like completely original with no rust. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with this one right now. Obviously, we've had a lot of body work done to this one to make it, you know, as close to rust free as I could get it. But yeah, I mean, I think it looks pretty good for how old it is, how many miles it has. Yeah, I mean, it's just been well taken care of. I think the previous owner, she didn't drive it too much. It was an older lady, so I definitely got lucky with finding this thing. So another common issue with these old Jeeps is a cracking head. So I believe this issue only applies to the year 2000 and 2001 Jeeps, and this one is a 2001. Whenever these Jeeps overheat, there is a possibility that the head could crack. Now, I know in the previous generations or the previous years before 2000, that problem was not as common as it is in the, you know, the last 2 years of these Jeep production. So yeah, that's just something else you would need to look out for. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing pretty much a complete overhaul of the cooling system, is because I don't want to run into the issue of a cracked head, because that could definitely be expensive, and you know, it can definitely also be prevented by not overheating the Jeep. So that's just also one more thing to keep in mind if you're looking at a 2000 or a 2001. I wanted to get a 2001 just because I think it's cool to have like the last year that they were produced. But yeah, I've heard the best year of the XJ was the 99. I believe those also did not have a coil pack. It had a distributor. 99s also didn't have that common problem of the cracking head, which is definitely good. So if you guys are looking for, you know, probably for what most people think is the best year of the XJ, I would say that's probably the 99. But in my opinion, my favorite is the 2001, just because it's the last year that the XJs were produced. I haven't had a cracked head issue at all, and I'm hoping that never happens, because, you know, I try to take good care of this thing. I'm replacing most of the parts of the cooling system to avoid that overheating issue and avoid a cracked head. So another common issue with these old Jeeps is how it handles on like high-speed roads like the interstate or highways. Now, I have to admit, it's really not that bad for the kind of vehicle that this thing is. It's made to go off-roading, and it's all right going on-road. But if you have a lifted Jeep like this, it's not going to be the best, I guess. A lot of people do enjoy driving their Jeeps on the highway. I would prefer to not drive this thing on the highway, just because it really doesn't have as much acceleration as I would like to have in a car that I'm driving on the highway. Because if I need to merge like on an on-ramp, and I need to accelerate really fast, or if I need to brake really fast, I feel like I can't do that safely in a Jeep XJ like this, but I really can't complain. It's not made to be fast or have good driving performance. It's made to go off-road, and that's what it's really good at, of course. So another issue with the highway driving is that some people have said that the steering wheel kind of floats around, and I have experienced that a little bit. There is a good amount of play in the steering wheel if you're like driving on the highway or pretty much anywhere, but the Jeep kind of floats around between the lanes. But you know, it's not that difficult to control, in my opinion. Another issue that I've had with highway driving is that sometimes this Jeep has trouble downshifting. Whenever you're in the top gear driving like, I don't know, 50 to 70 miles an hour, and you need to go up like an incline or something, you can literally floor it, and the Jeep doesn't want to downshift for some reason. I'll insert a clip of me like flooring the Jeep on the highway and it just like bogging down really slow. Okay, I don't know what it's doing right now. We're going 45 right now with my foot to the floor. Sometimes whenever I take my foot off the throttle then put it back on, it'll downshift, so I'll try to do that. Off the throttle. Okay, so it downshifted right there, and now we might be able to actually like speed up a little bit. As you guys saw from that video, I was basically flooring it up that little highway incline, and it just didn't want to downshift for some reason. So usually whenever that happens, I have to take my foot off the gas and then give it like floor it again, and then it'll downshift. So a lot of people have said that I just need to adjust the kick down cable and that should solve the issue. Still haven't looked into that. I know it's something that I need to do, but that's another thing to know if you're planning on driving your Jeep on the highway. So like I said, it really isn't that bad. You know, as long as you're not expecting it to be like a sports car and you're not expecting it to handle with, you know, you're not going to be able to like turn it in and out of traffic like you would be able to do with like a Miata or a sports car like that. You're not going to be able to accelerate or brake like you would with a sports car. But, you know, you just have to give yourself more time to react in a vehicle like this. Next thing I want to talk about is actually on the inside of the Jeep. So we can go ahead and get in the driver's side here so you guys can get a good view of what I'm talking about. And let me show you guys. Yeah, you see that right over here? That's the headliner. This is a pretty common problem with these XJs, is that the headliner just sags. So, now it should be, I don't think the fix for this would be too difficult. You know, you just have to replace it, obviously. But, yeah, for me, it takes up about like half the ceiling here. It goes all the way back to the speakers in the ceiling right there. Then you can kind of see it goes over to the driver's side as well. It's kind of starting to sag on this side too. So it's actually the first time that I'm noticing it on the driver's side. So yeah, I mean, you know, not a huge deal, of course, but it's definitely something that you should know if you're planning on getting a Jeep like this, is that the headliner is most likely sagging unless it's already been taken care of. So for me, you know, it's really not a huge issue. I do like to keep my Jeep in very good condition. I'll show you guys what the inside looks like here. But yeah, I mean, super clean. So yeah, I mean, the headliner really, I wouldn't say it's a huge deal for me, but it's something that I've just been putting off because I would rather do stuff like replace the parts of the cooling system so it can run better, run cooler, and not have like an issue of the cracked head or anything like that. So I feel like eventually I will get to the headliner and maybe just go ahead and replace it and see how that goes. But as of right now, it's not really anything on my to-do list for this Jeep. As of right now, my very long to-do list on this Jeep is electric fan replacement, water pump, thermostat housing, radiator hoses, serpentine belt, idler pulley if I need to, maybe replace the whole radiator, flush the coolant, and that's basically it for the engine side of things. And then when we move on to the body, I would like to replace these bumper end caps because, as you can see, they are pretty faded. That's also a pretty common problem. The back isn't too bad, but I think I would also want to get those replaced as well. And like I mentioned earlier, I want to replace the whole rear bumper with a stock one because this one's, you know, all rusted. So that's basically my whole to-do list for this Jeep right now. And then eventually I would like to replace the headliner, just, you know, if there's nothing else to do on this Jeep, which is highly unlikely. Yeah, I mean, the 4.0 in these old Jeeps is, you know, I've heard a lot of people say that it's bulletproof, and I really do believe that. It's just all the other parts other than the engine is what you have to actually like take care of and maintain, which really isn't too difficult. It's just, you know, you have to keep up with it. And in my owner's manual, in the notes section, I actually have every single service listed out, the date and the mileage where I did it at. So like anytime I've done a fluid change, I would write in what date, what fluid I changed, and what mileage I did it at. So I just have a log of pretty much every service that's been done on this Jeep, at least every service that I have done. I don't have a log of the services that the previous owner has done, but that would definitely be useful as well. But at least I know what I have done. So I would recommend also doing that if you're planning on keeping your XJ for a long time. It definitely helps you keep track of what you have done and what you still need to do. So like I said, the 4.0 engine, I would say that it actually is bulletproof. It's just the things outside of the engine that you need to replace and, you know, keep an eye on and maintain, like the cooling system, a lot of the hoses and lines. Like I had to replace this, don't know what exactly it's called, but it goes from the valve cover over to the intake manifold here. Had to replace this tube right here because it actually like cracked. It was so brittle. Here's another hose that you might need to look out for. I haven't had to replace this one yet, but you know, it's just one more thing to look out for. I have replaced the valve cover gasket, which is it's a Falpro gasket is what I used. I have a tutorial video on that if you guys want to check it out. Of course, did a few oil changes, replaced all the fluids. So yeah, I mean, basically, if you maintain your Jeep and keep up with all the replacement parts, then it's gonna last you a very long time. I've seen, I think the highest mileage XJ that I've seen was around like 360 to 380,000, which I do believe they could go a lot higher than that. But yeah, we'll see how high this one goes. I'm not planning on selling this thing pretty much anytime. That's the whole reason why I'm trying to like fix it up and make it all good, fix up all the rust, replace all the cooling system parts. But yeah, hopefully this thing lasts me a long time. As you can see, I have a lot of the suspension components replaced as well. We have a 3-inch lift on this thing. It's the Rusty's 3-inch advanced lift kit, so it comes with everything that you need, plus a little bit more, such as extended brake lines, sway bar, quick disconnect, steering stabilizer, adjustable track bar. Yeah, we also do have 31-inch Pro Comp mud tires and Pro Comp wheels as well. So this thing is definitely a project, but it's definitely an awesome vehicle. It would make a good daily driver. If you have to drive on the highway, just be prepared to know how it drives, but it's definitely possible. A lot of people ask about the fuel economy on this thing. I've never calculated it. It doesn't matter to me because it's a Jeep. It's not made to have good fuel economy. I'm the same way with the Challenger. Anytime I drive the Challenger, I really don't pay attention to the fuel economy at all, because those types of cars and these Jeeps really aren't made to have good fuel economy. If you're wondering what kind of fuel economy I get, I really can't tell you an answer for that because never calculated it and doesn't really matter to me, to be honest. So guys, that's probably gonna do it for this video. Like I said, those were the top 5 issues with the Jeep Cherokee XJ, just common issues that are known with the XJs. And like I said, this list was not in any particular order. It's just common issues that I'm aware of that these XJs have. And if you guys have anything to add to that list, definitely drop those down in the comments below. If you guys have any questions or comments, make sure to drop those down in the comments below. And if you guys have any video suggestions for videos you would like to see in the future, make sure to drop those down in the comments below as well. And if you guys liked this video or found it entertaining, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.